Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Movie Magic, the podcast where we unpack the technology behind every magical frame of cinema. And as usual, I'm your host, Nguyen, and today we're zooming into a so-called game-changer invention in the world of filmmaking. It is no other than the Steadicam. Now, let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever followed the eerie hotel corridors with the little twin sisters in The Shining? Or ever felt the intense chase scenes in Indiana Jones? If yes, then congratulations! You have already experienced the Steadicam at work, even if you didn't know it. Invented by Garrett Brown and first introduced in 1975, the Steadicam, or as Garrett previously called it, the brow stabilizer, offered a completely new affordance, the ability to shoot fluid, stabilize motion without the rigid constraints of tracks or dollies. Before the emergence of Steadicam, if you wanted a smooth tracking shot, you had to lay down rails or resort or jarring handheld footage. With this technological development in hand, it allowed filmmakers or camera operators all of that time to move freely through space while still maintaining the cinematic stability. In light of Gibson's theory of technological affordances and Butcher and Hellman's ideas on media technologies, which is what they afford or allow people to do, we could say that the Steadicam here allowed for dynamic, unbroken movement while diminishing the need for extensive physical infrastructure or static camera setups. It essentially redefined what a shot could be, thereby changing the trajectory of the whole cinema industry at that moment. So, what did this specific invention mean for filmmakers? First of all, it nurtured creative freedom. Directors now could choreograph long, immersive shots that moved through complex environments. Let's think of Martin Scorsese's famous tracking shots in Goodfellas or The Wolf of Wall Street. Those scenes would have been nearly impossible or insanely costly without the Steadicam. It also sped up production, don't you notice? Without having to set up elaborate rigs, filmmakers could save both time and money. And for independent creators with limited budgets, this affordance was more than what they could ask for. It was revolutionary. We already talked about the meaning of this invention for the creators, right? So what about the consumers then? Well, from the audience perspective, the Steadicam transformed the cinematic experience. It pulled viewers deeper into the story world, creating what scholars like Martin Lloyd-Predinger might call a heightened illusion of reality. While early cinema used fixed shots, like the famous Arrival of the Train, to dazzle viewers with novelty, the Steadicam gave modern audiences something even more immersive, a presence within the scenes. Just like the myth of panic during Lumiere's train films suggested cinema's manipulated power, the Steadicam forged a new kind of emotional manipulation, I would say this time more advanced, quietly guiding us, sometimes without a cut, into fear, joy, or wonder. So, to wrap it up, from the early motion studies by Muybridge, to the emotional pull of Lumiere's camera, to the immersive magic of the Steadicam, like we have just discussed previously, cinema has always evolved through its tools, especially those technological tools. Each one offers new affordances, and each shifts not just how movies are made, but also to us as audience how we see, feel, and interpret them. So next time you are swept away by a seamless tracking shot, remember, it's not just style, it is history, theory, and also the technological affordances behind that, all walking side by side. We have come to the end of today's episode. My deepest thanks to all the cinephiles out there for tuning in to Movie Magic. Remember that the podcast airs every Friday at 8 p.m. Until then, stay curious and keep listening with wonder.